In our search for answers after the Uvalde school shooting, we wondered how often someone else with a gun can actually stop a mass shooting. As we found out, it's a question without an easy answer. It was the first service after Christmas 2019, halfway through communion prayer at West Freeway Church of Christ. A lone gunman stood up, spoke briefly to church deacon Tony Wallace, and then killed him. In less than 2 seconds, he then turned, shot, and killed parishioner and armed security team member Richard White. 2 terrifying seconds that Jack Wilson recounted to CBS 11 just days after the shooting.
After he shot Richard and Tony, he went and started towards the front of the sanctuary, and that's when I was able to engage him, and I fired 1 round.
A single shot fired from the back of the sanctuary. To this day, Wilson grieves the loss of his 2 friends, but he's also grateful to have likely saved so many other lives.
I'm curious your thoughts when you saw Buffalo and then just such a short time later, Uvalde. What's the first thing that Jack Wilson's thinking about when you see what unfolded?
Why was there not someone there that could help stop that in both cases?
It's a question many have asked, and the answer depends largely on the event itself. CBS 11 did some digging, and we found that very few mass shooting incidents have been resolved by bystanders who had a gun. Of the 464 active shooter events looked at over the course of 20 years, 242 ended before police could respond. But the active shooter was shot by someone else who was not law enforcement just 24 times. We also found that shootings involving Good Samaritans with guns have ended both good and bad. In Arvada, Colorado last year, armed Good Samaritan Johnny Hurley is caught on camera shooting a gunman who had just shot and killed a police officer moments earlier. But in the seconds after Hurley kills the bad guy, a responding officer mistakes Hurley for the shooter and killed him. In Superior, Nebraska, 2021, a fired employee came back with a gun. He shot 3 people, killing 2 of them. As it was happening, another employee managed to grab a gun in an office and return fire. He stopped that shooter, just like Jack Wilson did.
It is frustrating when some people still think, well, nothing can happen here. When you don't prepare for things, the tragic results are what fall out of that. I still want to know, with the shooter in Uvalde, an 18-year-old that's working 8 hours a week at Wendy's has the money to buy what he had in his possession, which is somewhere at least $5,000.
When the Uvalde shooter entered the school, he was armed with an M4 rifle and body armor. He also had an AR-15 style rifle, 20 boxes of ammo, and 17 30-round magazines. The investigation found that he had purchased all of that legally.
He had money and a joint account with his grandmother and used a debit card to make those online purchases, several online purchases, at least 6, prior up until the day of the attack, or actually to the day of his birthday, May 16th.
Jack Wilson will be the first to tell you that every situation is unique. There is no blanket solution. But having lived through and taken down an active shooter himself, being unarmed will never be an option for him.
People ask me, well, how did you deal with, killing somebody? I didn't kill a human being. I took out evil.
We're taking questions directly to our elected leaders. Watch Searching for Answers this coming Saturday, 10 p.m. You'll see it on CBS 11.